Yahuwah, you live forever. Sing his praise which dwelleth in Zion. Our Elohim, his words are perfect, and his kingdom will reign forever. You created the world and the universe,
so don't worry about it.
and everything that lives and breathes. You made it happen with just words. You have no beginning, and you have no ending. I think it's amazing, it's beyond my understanding. So what can I do if I don't have you? It's all about you, 'cause without you there's no me. I need a hand, 'cause I'm just a man. You're always there to teach me the way. I pray that I never fall away. Yahuwah, you live forever. Sing his praise which dwelleth in Zion. Our Elohim, his words are perfect, and his kingdom will reign forever. Sometimes all I wanna do is jump, lift my hand up high and stomp. Clean me with the water, baptized, get dumped. I feel with the rock and now I'm drunk. Oh, one time for Shabbat. I'm working every day, can't wait for my rest. Holy days coming and I'm impatient. Hanging with the rich, my God, good vibration. So what can I do if I don't have you? It's all about you, 'cause without you there's no me. I need a hand, 'cause I'm just a man. You're always there to teach me the way. I pray that I never fall away. Yahuwah, you live forever. Sing his praise which dwelleth in Zion. Our Elohim, his words are perfect, and his kingdom will reign forever. So what can I do if I don't have you? It's all about you, 'cause without you there's no me. I need a hand, 'cause I'm just a man. You're always there to teach me the way. Pray that I never fall away. Yahuwah, you live forever. Sing his praise which dwelleth in Zion. Our Elohim, his words are perfect, and his kingdom will reign forever. Yahuwah, you live forever. Sing his praise which dwelleth in Zion. Our Elohim, his words are perfect, and his kingdom will reign forever.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Facebook Live, good morning, Breaking Strongholds Ministries. Good morning, YouTube with Orlando, keeping it simple. Happy Sabbath day, happy Sabbath day. This is the day that the Most High have made, so let us be glad and rejoice in it. How's everyone doing this morning? I hope everyone is having a great Sabbath day. I hope your week was good. I hope that the Most High blessed you over and abundantly with love, kindness, and wisdom. I hope he has really blessed your offspring with love, kindness, and wisdom. I hope that he really has did his will in your life. I hope that the Most High has really truly has blessed you or barak you over and abundantly. My week has been okay, I guess. You know, I really don't have a lot to say about my week this week. I really don't have a lot to say about it. It's just my week. It's just been a week. Um, I've learned some things about life and just reality, man. It's something. Um, Last week, the teachings that I taught on is very relevant, um, because what people are going through in life, it's like sometimes we think that we're the only ones going through whatever we're going through, but in actuality, we're not the only ones that's going through complications in life. Um, if you have had a death in your family, you're not the only ones going through someone you having that experience. If you're having problems with your offspring, you're not the only ones that's going through that with your offsprings. If you're just having turmoils within your household, you're not the only ones that's going through that in your household. It's just that's the spirit that's on the earth right now. He said, I didn't come to bring peace, but I just came to bring war and fighting. So when we understand that, that just don't make it just to one person or to one generation. It makes it to everybody on the earth. Everybody's going to be experiencing strife. Everybody's going to be experiencing war. Everybody's going to be experiencing complications. And that is something we just got to deal with. And I just want to reassure you today that you're not the only ones that's going through things in life. And I'm not belittling your situation. Neither should you belittle anyone else's on what they're going through. It's just that this is what we got to go through. Um, this is something that we just got to endure to the end. Um, just keep your head up and stay strong and stay focused and keep it moving. That's all I can say, because it's not an easy road. It's not an easy task, because we're going through spiritual things. We're not going through physical things. We're going through spiritual things. So that mess with us internally. So just keep your head up and keep pushing forward, okay? Let us go ahead and turn to the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verses 1 through 17. And it reads, And El spake all these things, saying, I am Yahuwah thy El, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other Els before me, and thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. And thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah thy El, am a jealous El, visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto 1,000 of them that love me and keep my commandments. Understand verse 6 today. Understand verse 6. And thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy El in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is the Sabbath. For the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Yahuwah thy El. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservants, nor thy maidservants, nor thy cattle, nor thy strangers that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made the heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor thy fathers and thy mothers, that thy days be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy El giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. And let us pray. Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine to your kingdom, power to your glory, forever and ever. So let it be. Amen, amen, amen. Good morning again. Good morning, everyone who is listening to me. I hope your week has been a good week this week. If you could turn to the book of Joshua. If you could turn to the book of Joshua. If you could turn to the book of Joshua, chapter 1. Joshua chapter 1, verses 1 through 9. Joshua chapter 1, 1 through 9. And the key verse is going to be verse 2. And it reads in verse 2, And Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Okay, let me read it over. Moses, or Moshe, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. If I may give a title of the text today, the title of the text today is We Are in a Transitional Period. We are in a transitional period. And if I may give some definitions, the word transition is a mid-15th century word, meaning passage from one place or state to another. It means change. The etymology is go or cross over. Go across. The etymology of the word transition means to go or cross over. The 1828 dictionary word means a passage from one place or state to another. It means a change. The word fear. The word fear is a mid-15th century word. It means to terrify, frighten. It means calamity, a sudden danger, peril, or sudden attacks. And the etymology, that's the etymology of the word. The etymology of the word fear is a 15th century word. Etymology of it is to terrify, frighten, calamity, sudden dangers, perils, or sudden attacks. The 1828 dictionary means a painful emotions or passion excited by an expectations of evil or an apprehension of impending danger. The 1828 dictionary means it's an expectation of evil that may come about. Okay? So now, let me give you another word, another passage that we should keep in mind. It goes to Psalms 29 and 25. Psalms 29 and 25. No, is that Psalms? No, it can't be it. Hold on, let me see something. Hold on, that's not Psalms. Okay, it's Proverbs. I'm sorry, it's not Psalms. It's Proverbs 29. It's Proverbs 29 and 25, and it reads, It says, the fear of man bringeth a snare, but whosoever put his trust in the Lord shall be safe. The fear of a man bringeth a snare, a problem, a complication, a situation. But whosoever put his trust in the Lord shall be safe. Okay? So now let us go back to Joshua, the book of Joshua. Okay? Joshua is what they call a minister or a servant of Moses, and he was following Moses through. He was the servant of Moses. He was what they call the apprentice of Moses, of Moshe, as he was leading the children of Israel out of Egypt and through the wilderness and to the front door of the promised land, or at the Jordan River or Jordan River. Okay? And Joshua was one who will be able to take control or be the leader of the children of Israel after the death of Moses. And Joshua was one who would be taking the children of Israel through the Jordan River and into the promised land. And he was commissioned to do that by the Most High, to be able to take on this challenge, or this transition that the children of Israel was getting ready to go through. But before Joshua was getting ready to have to take this journey or go through this transition, the Most High had to deal with him emotionally. Because this is an emotional story. It deals with the mental aspects of how the Most High was dealing with Joshua. Because it's not necessarily a physical transition, it's a mental transition. And we have to understand that a lot of transition starts in the mind first before it can start through the physical aspect. It's like, say hypothetically, if you was 500 pounds or 300 pounds or whatever the situation is, you wanted to get out of a marriage and you wanted to get out of this marriage, you first have to go through a mental transition before you can go through a physical transition. That means that you got to get your mind right before you start the transition. Because if you don't get your mind right before you start the transition, it will be very difficult for you to go through the transition, because you're not mentally stable to handle the obstacles that you're going to endure during the transition. So this is talking about a mental thing. This is a mental story or a mental teachings today about what the Most High was dealing with Joshua before he got ready to go through or take on the assignment. And that's why I'm telling you today is that we're in a transitional period. Because when you see when transition means a change, it means that you're getting ready to go from one point of place to another point in place. And see, I now understand why everything is going so slow. Is because the powers that be is taking people through a transition. But you cannot make the people go through a transition right off the bat. Because if you take a person through a transition right off the bat, it will be very difficult for those people to be able to handle the transition. So when you're going through a transition, it has to be a slow process in order for people to be able to accept the transition. And now I understand it. even though I don't like it, I understand it, because transition cannot take place over a short period of time. It has to take place over a long period of time. And that's why the Most High had to take the children of Israel, and that's why he dealt with the children of Israel the way he did. That's why he allowed them to stay in the wilderness for 40 years, because, and that's why he killed off the elders of the children of Israel, because some people are not able to handle transitions. Some people are not able to handle change. And because some people are not able to handle change, it would sometimes damage or hinder the change. Or it would keep them in the same state that they will be in. And the change would not be as effective as it would be if they accepted the change. So that's why the Most High had to take the children of Israel through the Red Sea, because going through that Red Sea or the Red Sea still was a process. It was a transition. It was something that they had to go through to get to the other side. See, once they left Egypt, they still had to go through the Red Sea. They had to go through something to get to the other side. And once they got to the wilderness, it was very difficult for them, some of the people in the wilderness, to handle the transition. That's why a lot of them said, I'd rather go back to Egypt, because they didn't want to deal with what was, they didn't want to deal with their present state. And so because they didn't want to deal with their present state, that's why they said, I'd rather go back to Egypt. Did you bring us out here to kill us and do all these things to us, Moses? And did you bring us out here to starve us to death? But at the time of them going through the Red Sea and being in the wilderness was that moment where they could be able to have a relationship with the Most High. But they did not see it from that viewpoint. They did not see the transition, or they did not see the wilderness as a point of connection or experience with the Most High. They didn't see it from that viewpoint. They just saw it from a negative point of view. And a lot of times when we see transitions, it depends on when we go through a transition, it depends on how we see the transition is how we respond to the transition. And how we see the transition is more of a mental state, more so than a physical state. So once we see the transition how we see the transition from the mental state is how we will respond from it from a physical. And that is one of the most difficult things about transitions, is how we view it from the mental state. And that's why a lot of them died. That's why they behaved the way they behaved in the wilderness, because they did not see it from the spiritual sense. They didn't see it from the Most High intervening. They didn't see it from that state or that point of view. And because they did not see it from that state or point of view, that's why a lot of people didn't make it. That's why a lot of people perished. That's why a lot of people died in the midst of the transition. That's why he said only a third of the people are only going to make it, because a lot of people cannot handle change. A lot of people cannot handle adversities. A lot of people can't handle movements. And see, I was looking at this movie last night and I turned it off because I didn't like what I was looking at. But it was a movie starting where this family was getting ready to leave California and to move to Texas. And the family was getting ready to leave California and to move to Texas because they had family issues. So now when everybody was packing up, nobody wanted to leave California. Everybody wanted to stay in California. Everybody was moping. Everybody was crying. It was a difficult situation. And because it was such a difficult situation, nobody wanted to go to Texas. Even though Texas might have been a better place and a better location for them, nobody wanted to leave. They wanted to stay in their old city, their old place, mentally and physically. Even though it wasn't a good place for them to be in at the time, they wanted to stay there. So the movie was showing me, as I recollect now, the movie was showing me that people have a difficult time transitioning from one state to another, from one place to another. And that is the hardest part about life sometimes, accepting transitions, accepting change, accepting what's getting ready to happen, what's coming about, whatever it is. People don't want that because they're so used to normalcy. And when you look at the children of Israel being in Egypt, they were used to practicing or living the style of the lifestyle of the Egyptians. They were so used to that, and they didn't want to make that change because it was embedded in their lives. It was in their DNA. It was who they were. Even though they was being oppressed and going through a lot of hardships in Egypt, they adapted to that custom. They adapted to that lifestyle. They adapted to whatever it was. And it's just like African American people, black people, or Hebrew people living in America today. It would be very difficult for us to pick up and leave and go somewhere else and stay in another country because we have gotten so used to the customs of this American society. And if somebody said, hey, I would give you $1 million to pick up and go wherever you want to go and live the way you want to live in another country, a lot of people would not take that $1 million because they were so used to and accustomed to American society. It is not the fact that they didn't want the $1 million. It's just the fact that they were so used to the customs of our society. So that's why it would be so difficult for them to be able to take that $1 million and run. Because what was so embedded and ingrained in them at the time. And see, that is hard for us as people to do. Is to accept change. It's hard for us to be able to accept a new way of living. It is hard for us to accept the things that is going on around us today. That's why some people still try to act as if everything is normal when things are not normal. That's why it's so hard for people to accept that there may not be a lot of food in the stores. That's why it's so hard for people to accept whatever it is. That's why they want to continue to do what they want to do, trying to suppress the thought process that we getting ready to go through a transition. So that's why they say, I'm going to live like I want to live. I'm going to be the way I want to be, and I'm going to do what I want to do. And I'm not going to stop living because they don't want to accept that transition. They don't want to accept that change. And that's why the Most High was talking to Joshua the way he was talking to Joshua, because he's getting ready to take the children of Israel through another transition. He was getting ready to take the children of Israel to another transition. And this transition would be a great transition, but they would have to go through something to get to that place of happiness. And that's one of the most difficult part about it. Everybody has a fear of transition because they don't know what to expect on the other side. They don't know what to expect on the other side. They know what's in front of them. And they will make good out of what's in front of them. They will make good out of whatever it is to try to be comfortable, because the body is made to be adaptable. In whatever climate element it is, the mental and the body is able to survive or make itself to survive in whatever it is. But when people don't know the unknown, it's very difficult for them to accept the transition. They don't want to accept the transition because they don't know what to expect through the transition. That's why when I was looking at that movie last night, the kids was mad because they knew what they was living in, but they don't know what they was going into. They don't know what they was going into. So because they didn't know what they was going into, they was kind of hesitant to make the move. And I turned the movie out because I didn't like the scenario at the beginning of the movie, even though the movie might have been a great movie. I didn't like the scenario. I didn't like the plot at the very beginning. But now when we're starting to look at the book of Joshua, they're getting ready to make a transition. They're leaving that wilderness. They're leaving that dry place. They're leaving that dry state. And now they're getting ready to go into the promised land. They're getting ready to go into the promised land. And Joshua was assigned to take them to the promised land. But let me read you a little bit about it. Let me read you a little bit about the commentary on it. Let me read you a little bit about the commentary on it. It says, and see, transitions are always a promise that nothing will never stay the same. Everything will always change. Nothing will be the same forever and ever and ever. It's always a promise of change or transitions. Okay, it says, at last, after 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, it is now time to cross the Jordan River and enter into the land that God had promised. See, the Most High had promised that the children of Israel would go into their promised land. They would go into their place of rest. Everybody will go into their place of rest. You don't know when, you don't know what you have to go through to get to that place of rest, but everybody is promised that place of rest. It says, now the Israelites will live in houses instead of tents. They will have luxury fruit trees right in their front yards. Instead of moving from oasis to oasis, always searching for water and grass, now they will live by streams, springs, and wells with plenty of grass for their livestock to eat. Furthermore, everybody is going to get an equal share. Those who were slaves in Egypt are now going to get their own farms, vineyards, houses, and wells. It was like winning the lottery, the wonderful promise of land and rest is about to be fulfilled. Now they're getting ready to go through it, but the difficult part is, are they going to be able to want to make that transition, even though they don't even know what's over there? And that's why Moses when we go to Numbers, right? Numbers chapter 17. Numbers chapter 13, verse 17. See, Moses sent 12 spies, each one represented one person from each tribe. He sent them into the land of Canaan to see how the land looked. And when he sent the people over there to see how the land looked and see what was going on in the land and how everything was in the land, only 2 came back with the positive results. A positive result, and it was Joshua and Caleb. Okay, and it says, I'm gonna read, Joshua and Caleb had brought back the 2 good reports. Okay, and it goes down to verse 20, Numbers chapter 13, verse 25. And it says, and they returned from searching of the land after 40 days, And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran and to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and to all the congregation, and shewed them the fruits of the land. And they told him and said, We came unto the land whether thou sent us, and surely it flows with milk and honey, and this is the fruits of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, understanding that before they had to make this transition into to the promised land, they was given a picture of what was in the promised land. Now it says, nevertheless, the people be strong that dwells in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anakai there, and Anaki, and that's not pronounced right. Anak, okay, Anak there, and the Amalekites dwell in the land of the south. The Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, But we be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. See, a lot of the times when it's a time for a transition in your life, and you got to take some people with you through the transition, or to the transition, it's gonna be some people that was gonna be very doubtful, but it's gonna be some people that is very hopeful. Depending on the person's mindset, they will be very hopeful about the transition, and there will be some very negative people about the transition. And that is one of the things that happened when the spies came back. Caleb gave a positive result because he saw the possibilities. But the other men gave a negative report because he saw the obstacles during the transition. It was some people saw those big people, those big giants and all these people that was in the land as an obstacle. But Caleb was looking at the possibilities of living in peace and harmony with his own people and the fruits in the land and all of that as the possibilities of living in peace. And that's the thing about going through transition. And see, last night when I was looking at that movie, the young people didn't want to make the transition, but the mama knew she had to make the transition. And the brother was just in the middle and said, I don't care, I'm just going to go just to go. See, you're going to have some people are going to have all types of opinions about the transition. You're going to have some people that say, no, the transition ain't good. You're going to have some people that say, yes, the transition is good. But then you're just going to have some people on the fence. Just depends on your thought process. Just depends on your mentality. It depends on how you will see the transition. So now, it says in verse 32, And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we may have gone to search it is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people we saw in it are men of great stature. That's the negative side of the transition. But let us go on and go back to Joshua chapter 1. And I just want us to understand the point of transitioning. Okay? This is when Moshe was getting ready to pass away. It says, now this is after the death of Moses. And it says, now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that Yahuwah spake unto Joshua, the son of Noam, Moses' minister or servant, saying, Moses my servant is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Now, I want us to understand that we're getting ready to go through a transition, and the Most High is talking to His chosen people. That we got to get ready to stand up and take our position, our authority during this transition. Because the Most High was speaking to Joshua at his time, and now the Most High sends His prophets or His servants to speak to the other people the same way. We got to get ready to stand up for the transition that we're getting ready to go through. We got to take our place right now for the transition that's getting ready to happen on the earth. Even though some people see the transition as good, some people see the transition as bad, some people don't even know that we're getting ready to go through a transition. But we've been in a transition since 2019 or December. But a lot of people really don't want to accept the transition. A lot of people still want to live in a life of normalcy when the life has altered. This transition has altered our life tremendously. But a lot of us don't want to accept that transition. But the Most High was talking to Joshua. He says, arise, stand up, take your place. Go over this Jordan. He was telling him to get ready to do something. Do something. Do something. Thou and all this people unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 31. Verse 7. I want us to understand, take your place, arise, stand up. It says, and Moses called unto Joshua and said unto him in the sight of all Israel, be strong and of good courage, for thou must go with this people unto the land which the Lord has sworn unto their fathers, to give them, and thou shalt cause them to inherit it. See, right now the Most High is calling us to take a stand on something, because us taking a stand or taking our place not just don't bless us, it causes us to help other people in their journey. In this transition, they help other people along the way, because we are people, we are the Most High's chosen ones, and because we take this stand, it will help other people take the stand. It will help other people be secure. It will help other people be protected. It will help other people as well as ourselves to inherit the blessings that the Most High wants us to inherit. See, the benefit just didn't help Joshua. It said, and it says in verse again, it says, and Moshe called unto Joshua and said unto him, in the sight of all Israel, be strong and of good courage, for thou must go with this people unto the land which Yahuwah has sworn unto their fathers to give them. See, the land just wasn't promised to Joshua. The land was promised to all the children of Israel. And see, right now, what we're getting ready to go through is not just for us, it's for everybody that is attached to us. Let me give you another one. Let's go to Deuteronomy 1 and 38. See, because what us taking a stand right now is very important, not just to us, it's for everybody around us. We got to get ready to take a stand. We got to be able to stand up. Be ready to stand up. It says, but Joshua the son of Nun, which stand before thee, he shall go in thither. Encourage him, for he shall cause Israel to inherit it. Joshua taking his position, Joshua taking his place, it helped other people, it helped the children of Israel inherit the land. By us doing what we got to get ready to do, it's going to help other people along the way. By you standing up, by you taking your position on whatever the transition is, it's not just going to help you, it's going to help other people along the way. Let us go to Luke chapter 10. Verse 1 and 2. It says, after these things the Lord appointed other 70 also. Let me read that over in layman terms. And it says, after these things, Yahuwah appointed others 70. He said, let me read it over. It says, after these things, Yahuwah appointed disciples 70 also, and sent them 2 by 2 before his face into every city and place, whether he himself would come. Then verse 2 it says, therefore said he unto them, the harvest truly is great, but the laborers are few. Pray ye therefore the Lord of the harvest, that he would send forth laborers unto his harvest. See, right now, us taking our place and taking a stand, it is for us to help other people. Us right now getting ready to take this stand on the transition that's getting ready to come about. It's not just going to help us, it's going to help other people along the way. And yes, your life may be put on the line. But you got to be able to get ready to take this stand. You got to take it. Just like Joshua had to step up to the plate to be in this position. Is it a difficult position? Yes, it's a difficult position because he was just a servant to Moses. He saw Moses. He saw Moses doing what he was doing, and he was probably comfortable just being the servant for Moses. He's probably just comfortable being in that position. It's just like the queen just died this week, right? Now her son had to step up and step into her position as king. He's got to step into this position. Now he's taking a position of transition from just being a prince. Now he's the king. He stepped from a prince to a king. Now he's the man that's getting ready to lead the Roman or the empire to another position, another state, or another place. He's stepping into another position. The queen just died. Now her son finna get ready to step up into now he's getting ready to step up into her position. Now he's going to have to take the nation to a totally different place. We, as the children of Israel, we got to get ready to step up and get ready to take the people to a totally different position and place. Because the transitions are here. Everything is about to take place. Things are about to move very quickly. The queen passed away. Now her son is transitioning into her spot. Caleb, Moshe died. Now Joshua had to step up into his spot. Now We see the transition on the stage. Now we got to step up and deal with the transition. We got to get ready to deal with the transition that's getting ready to come. See, some people like Joshua was prepared. See, the prince was prepared to take the mother's spot. The Most High been preparing us for a long time for this spot that we getting ready to come through. That's why I said in Proverbs 29 and 25. Listen to the words. It says, the fear of man bringeth a snare, a problem. See, you cannot be afraid of transitions. You just got to take it by the horns. You just got to be ready to deal with it as what it is. You cannot be afraid of the transitions. Because when you're afraid of transitions, it causes you to make a lot of mistakes. Then it says, but whoso putteth his trust in Yahuwah shall be safe. And I want you to understand that part there, because it's going to come, we're gonna deal with it later on. So now Joshua 1 and 2. The Messiah, or the Most High, was talking to Joshua, told him, you got to rise up to get ready to go over to the Jordan. You got to go there, get ready to go to Jordan. And you just got to go, because it's not just going to help you, it's going to help the children of Israel as well, because this was a promise that I told the children of Israel that was going to happen. This is something that got to happen. Everything that we see now today is a promise that the Most High said. Okay, so what's in the land of promise in Jordan and Canaan? That's in verse 3 and 4. He's not just going to tell them what's over there. He's going to give them the measurements. He's going to give them the blessings that they're going to get in the land of promise. And see, now, since the prince have taken the queen's spot and he's became a king, he got the whole land of England to control. He don't just control England, he controlled the U.S. He controls the G7s. See, the king, he just don't control England or Germany, he controls the G7s. I want you to understand that. See, his land just increased, his authority and his power just increased from just being a prince or a servant. He just now became a king, where he's now in control of some of the most powerful countries on the earth. That's like a wow factor. Now let it look. Now let us look. He's controlling a lot of things. Listen. It says, every place that the soles of your foot trod or tread upon, that have I given unto you, as I said unto Moses. This is talking about the land. It says, every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that I have given unto you. The king got all the G7s. As I have said unto Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great rivers, the river Euphrates, and all the land of the Hittites, and to all the great seas towards the going down of the sun shall be your coast. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. See, the Most High was, this is very encouraging to Joshua during the transitional period, because it was letting Joshua know that during this transition and doing this thing that you're getting ready to do, I'm with you on it. I'm with you. I'm going to help you. I will go before you to deal with this transition. And see, a lot of the times, do we think that the Most High is going to be with us when we take a stand during the transitional period? Whether we're for it or against it. And see, when we look back during this transitional period that we've been going through since in 2019, we have to look at the stand that we took during this transition. And when we took the stands during the transition, did you experience the Most High or did you not experience the Most High? Did you make a decision out of fear, or did you make a decision based out of the commandments? That's what we got to understand. Why did we make the decision we made during this transitional moment? Why did we make this what decisions we made? What did we stand for? What place did we take during this transition? Because right now it's getting ready to enhance, or it's getting ready to intensify even more. Now, verse 6, it's the mental and the physical. The Most High is talking to Joshua. He's talking to him from the mental and the physical standpoint. Because everything starts what they call the mind. The Bible calls it the heart, but it's really the mind. Everything starts here first. That's why I said, before anything can happen in your life, it mentally got to be here before it can be able to come to an existence. You really have to make your mind up on something before it can become into an existence. Because when you get your mind to believe it, that's when you'll get your body to doing it. Okay? It says, be strong and of good courage. For unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land which I swore unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou may observe to do according to all the laws, which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from them. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou may prosper wherever thou go. But I'm going to deal with verse 6. Verse 6 is talking about the mental strong. Be mentally strong and physically courageous. Meaning having the willpower to do it. Let us go to 1 Chronicles to be able to help us to understand verse 6. Let's go to 1 Chronicles 22 and 13. It says, I'm going to go to verse 12 first. It says, only the Lord give thee wisdom and understanding, and give thee charge concerning Israel, that thou mayest keep the law of Yahuwah thy El. Then shalt thou prosper if thou take heed mentally to fulfill the statutes and judgment which Yahuwah charged Moses. With concerning Israel, be strong and of good courage, dread not, nor be dismayed. Now behold, in my troubles I have prepared for the house of the Lord 100,000 talents of gold. 1,000 talents of silver, and of brass and iron without weight. For it is in abundance. Timber also of stone have I prepared, and thou mayest add thereto. See, it says in verse 13, it says, thou shalt prosper if thou take heed, mean listen, mental. This is a mental strength, a strongness. You got to be mentally strong right now. When you stand up and take this position, you got to be mentally strong for what's getting ready to come. You got to be mentally strong because it ain't going to be easy. It ain't going to be easy. And see, we have to ask ourselves a question. Were we mentally strong in the last 2.5 years? Have we been mentally strong in the last 2.5 years? Or have we been mentally weak in the last 2.5 years? And did we just give in to something because of fear? Did you give in because of fear? Or was you mentally strong because of the word? And see, that's something we got to digest and deal with. That's something we got to digest and deal with. See, right now, what we getting ready to go through, you got to be mentally strong for this. It ain't no joke. Because it's going to test you on every level. Let us go to Psalms 27:14. It says, let me go to verse 13 first. It said, I have fainted unless I had believed. Huh? Let me go to Psalms 27:13 and 14. It says, I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of Yahuwah in the land of the living. It says, wait on Yahuwah, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thy mind. Wait, I say, on Yahuwah. What it means by wait don't mean just to sit in one place and do nothing. When he says waiting, it means to continue to study, continue to do his will during the process, during the transition. Means to throw man away. Means to just sit here, do the will of the Most High, and just continue to study him. And he will move and open up doors for you. During this transition, now we got to understand that now. Because we figure, I'm going to read you some in a few minutes. But we got to understand the transition. Isaiah 35, 3 and 4. I'm going to go to 2 first. Okay, verse 2 it says, Isaiah chapter 35, verse 2, 3, and 4. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with the joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it. The excellency of Carmel and Sharon. They shall see the glory of Yahuwah. And the excellency of our God. Strengthen ye the weak hands, and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, Be strong, fear not. Behold, your heir will come with vengeance. Even heir with a recompense. He will come and save you. That's what I mean by you got to continue to do the will. He will do what he was supposed to do. The spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, would do what it's supposed to do. It says, then the eyes of the blind shall be opened and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap as an hart, and the tongue of the dumb shall sing. For in the wilderness shall water break out in streams in the desert. So, we got to understand that this is a mental and physical thing that we're getting ready to go through. We got to be mentally and physically strong. And that's what he was telling Caleb when he getting ready to go through this transition, when he getting ready to go take this land. When he getting ready to take on this battle of fighting all these people in the land. He's got to be able to have this stuff. He got to have this tenacity and this strength and courageousness about him to be able to take it on. Just like the king now, he's got to be able to stand in the position that he's getting ready to stand in. He's going to have to make some tough decisions. He's going to have to do some things that he don't want to do, but he got to do. He's going to have to do all this stuff because it's commanded that he do it. And he's going to have to be in strong and good courage to do it. Even at the end of the day, it may not benefit him to do it. He's going to have to do it. Because the word has to be fulfilled. Right now, we got to do the same thing. We're gonna have to make some decisions we don't want to do. We're going to have to do some things we don't want to do. But in order for us to be able to survive, we're going to have to do it. Whether we like it or not. Joshua chapter 1, verse 7, 8, and 9. It's only be strong. Only thou be strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the laws which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left hand, that thou may prosper whithersoever thou goest. The book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. That's what the word wait means. Meditate, doing something in the process of making until it happens. That thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein, for then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Have not I commanded thee to be strong and of good courage? Be not afraid, neither be dismayed. For Yahuwah thy El is with thee, whether thou soever is with thee, whithersoever thou goest. He's telling you, when you stand up and you take your position mentally and physically, he got you. You just got to be able to stand up and step into position. And see, that's the hardest part for us to do, because we're afraid of the transition. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know the results before the beginning. We don't know the ending before the beginning. That is the hardest part. But when you read the word,
it gives you the beginning and the ending, so you already know what to expect. So you really shouldn't be afraid. So we just got to go through this part here. Let us go to Proverbs 17:3. He's letting us know he got us. We just got to go through the process. If we just go through the process, he's telling us, I got you. He says, a wise servant shall have rules over a son that causes shame, and shall have part of the inheritance among the brethren. Listen to this. A fining pot is for silver, the furnace for gold. But Yahuwah trieth the heart, which is the mind. He tests you mentally to see how you're going to respond. He tests you mentally to see how you're going to respond. See how you're going to handle these things. That's why he was talking to Joshua. And he was telling Joshua the things he was telling Joshua, because he was telling him, he was giving him confirmations that he had him, but Joshua just had to go through the process. And see, the thing, that's what we got to do. He already told us he got us. But we just got to go through the process. Are we willing to go through the process? Let's go to Isaiah 43. I'm just going to read through to verse 3. It says, but now thus saith Yahuwah that created thee, O Jacob, and he that formed thee, O Israel. Fear not, for I have redeemed thee. I have called thee by thy name. Thou art mine. When thou passest through the water, I will be with thee. Listen to that. I will be with thee. And through the river, they shall not overflow thee. When thou walkest through the fire, thou shalt not be burned. Neither shall the flame kindle upon thee. And the reason why he's saying all this, because we got to look at what happened when they went through the Red Sea. We got to look at what happened with the Jordan River. We got to look at what happened with Daniel and the Meshach and the Abednego and the 4 Hebrew boys in the furnace fire. We got to look at all of that. Those are confirmations that if he didn't allow nothing to happen to them, what make you think he allowed something to happen to you if you just stand on his word? See, that's the thing about it is that this book is a building block. It's something that we can build our faith on. That's why I put that picture out today, this week, about that vine holding that watermelon up. See, the vine holds you up. You don't hold yourself up. The vine held that watermelon up. And see, that vine had to be very strong to hold that 5 to 10 pound watermelon up. But did we look at it from a spiritual sense? He said in verse 3, for I am Yahuwah, thy God, your God, the Holy One of Israel, thy Savior, your Savior. I gave Egypt for thy ransom, Ethiopia and Saba for thee. Since thou wast precious in my sight, thou hast been honorable, and I have loved thee, therefore I will give men for thee, and people for thy life. Listen to what the Most High said. Most I said, I will kill people for you. I don't care nothing about those people. I just care about you. And whatever I got to do for you, if I got to kill off people for you, I'll kill off people for you. And that's what you got to understand. He care about the precious ones. He said, fear not, for I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far and my daughters from the end of the earth. Even everyone that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory. I have formed him, yea, I have made him. Bring forth the blind people that have eyes, and the deaf that have ears. Let all the nations be gathered together, and let the people be assembled. Be who among them can declare this, and show us former things. Let them bring forth their witnesses, that they may be justified, or let them hear and say, it is true. See, the Most High already telling you, he'll kill people for you. You just got to realize that. And see, some people don't even know. A lot of the times, people don't know who they're messing with. People don't know who they're messing with, and because they don't know who they're messing with, they will cause harm. They think they're causing harm to you, but in actuality, they're bringing harm and death unto themselves. I just experienced it this week. Sometimes you just got to leave people alone because you don't really know who they connected to. Spiritually and physically. Leave people alone. You don't know who they're connected to. Zechariah 13:9. I'm going to read 8. And then I'm going to read you some, and then I'm going to finish up. It shall come to pass that in the land, saith Yahuwah, 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but the third shall be left therein. Listen. He said, I will bring the third part through the fire. Will refine them as silver is refined, and will try them as gold is tried. And they shall call on my name, and I will hear them. And I will say, it is my people. And they shall say, Yahuwah is my God. When you take your position and you stand up mentally and physically, the Most High got you. Mm-hmm. Let me read you something. Now I want you all to write it down, who all's listening. And if you're not listening, if you don't write it down, that's on you. If you do write it down, that's cool. It's all on you. Executive Order 14067. Executive Order 14067. It's public record, so it's nothing that I'm stealing. Go down to section 4:1. Okay? I'm going to read you just this one paragraph. Because we're getting ready to go through, I'm talking about transitions. And see, a lot of people are not going to be able to handle the transition. It's going to be very difficult for people to deal with the transitions. Some people are just going to accept the transition. Some people are going to be on the fence. Whatever your thought process is, that's what it is. It says, section 4, letter I, the single letter I. Okay? And it says sovereign money is at the core of a well-functioning financial system. Macroeconomic stabilization policies and economic growth. Joe Biden administration placed the highest urgency on research and development efforts in the potential design and deployment options of a United States CBDC. What is a CBDC? It is a central bank digital currency. These efforts should include assessments of possible benefits and risks for consumers, investors, and businesses, financial stability and system risk, payment systems, and national security, the abilities to exercise human rights, financial inclusion and equity, and the actions required to launch a United States central bank digital currency. If doing so is deemed to be in the national interest, my administration sees merit in showcasing the United States leadership and participation in international for a related to central bank digital currency and in multi-country conversation and policy project involving the CBDC. Any further dollar payment system should be designed in a way that is consistent with the United States priorities and the democratic values, including privacy protection that ensures the global financial system has appropriated transparency, connectivity, and platforms and architectural interoperability or transferabilities as appropriate. Meaning that you can go ahead and finish reading the rest of this, but what is this is saying that the dollar bill finna go out the window. A new cryptocurrency or digital currency finna get ready to come into existence. The fiat dollar bill finna go out the door. The fiat dollar bill is not finna be in existence anymore. The fiat dollar bill will not be in existence anymore. And that's something that we got to understand. This is the transition that we're getting ready to go through. And this is something that we got to deal with. This is something that we got to get ready to deal with. Revelations chapter 13, verse 16 and 17. It says in Revelations 13, 16, and 17. It says, and he calls all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. What this is saying with the cryptocurrency is that the dollar bill is going to go away. And cryptocurrency will take the place of the dollar bill. So that means that everything that you purchase from that point forward be recorded. It will be recorded. everybody will know what you're purchasing, how you're purchasing it, whatever the amount that you're purchasing it for. Nothing will be hidden. How you handle that transition is based on you. Everything that takes place is going to be on you. Let's go back to Joshua. Let's go to 1 and 8. Let's go to 1 and 7. 7 and 8. Because this is your salvation. Because it said we're in a transitional period. And during this transitional period, we're in this transitional period. How you respond in this transitional period is very important to your salvation. Verse 7, it reads, "Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe," means to do. Observe to do according to all the laws which Moses my servant commanded thee. Listen, turn not from it to the right or to the left, that thou may prosper whatsoever thou goest. He telling you, don't go to the left, don't go to the right. Stay straight and focus on the Most High. Don't go to the left, don't go to the right. Just keep your focus on me. He said, the book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth. The word shall not depart out of thy mouth. Everything that you speak during that transitional phase only shall be the word. He says, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. This is the only, right now during your transition, during this transitional phase, you just should be studying the word. That's all you should be doing. Because I was talking to my uncle the other day, and he told me, he said, man, I don't know how people can't see it. If they just open up the word, they can see everything going on. It's word for word, verbatim, happening. He said, I don't see how they can't see it. He said, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou may observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. Right now, at this point in time in our life, our salvation comes, our good success comes, our ways of prosperity may come when we're studying on this word day and night right now. That's the only thing that's going to get you through whatever it is. That's the only thing that's going to keep you safe. That's the only thing that's going to keep you healthy. That's the only thing that's going to get you in a way that you could be prosperous. Now, I see a lot of YouTubers that use a lot of spiritual galactical words and this, that, and the other. They all now coming back to the source of the Bible. They may still use some of their terminologies to keep their audience, because that's how they got their audience. But they're all coming back to the same thing. That's this. That's this. The Bible. That's the Bible. Everything is coming. Everybody's coming back to the book. Everybody's coming back to the book. Everybody's coming back to the book. Everybody. Because everybody's afraid. Everybody's scared of this transitional moment. Everybody's don't know what to expect. Everybody don't know what's going to happen. A lot of stuff is going on. Everybody's afraid. So your salvation comes. This is the law. This book is of the law, shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. That's the only way you're going to have salvation right now. Because it's going to help you to see what's going on in reality. He's going to let you know. When you, hold on, let me say this. When you stand up and take your position, physically and spiritually, he'll have your back, or he got you. Why? Because you meditating on his word day and night. You gotta meditate. Right now, the only thing you should be doing is studying the word. All the other stuff, it's not the one.